Paul, warm welcome to Startup Grind.
Shoot out to you and the team for inviting me. That's cool. That's nice. Appreciate it. And talk for the next few minutes with you.
Yeah, we're really looking forward to that. But a foundation, maybe you can give us a short or brief introduction about yourself.
Yes, so as you can hear with my accent, I'm a French guy. I'm 33 years old. I came to Hong Kong in 2017. So it's been 8 years. I'm a permanent resident of Hong Kong now. I came here because I was a BD for a French company selling batteries. And over the past few years, I changed my job at least 3-4 times, worked for different companies as marketing guy, as BD, as other role, project manager as well. And in 2023, I decided to create 2 businesses, online businesses. One is a media, a newsletter that helped me build a networking platform similar to Startup Grind, but way smaller, let's be modest. And the other one is a website creation platform to help companies build websites, maintain them, and update the design if it's too outdated, to make it simple.
And that's the one that's got a bit affected or disrupted by AI. And I got to know you thanks to your very interesting LinkedIn posts.
Well, it's true that I post a lot on LinkedIn, a lot, like maybe twice a week. And usually my post has nothing to do with my website creation activities. It's really, it's all about what I want to talk about at this moment. So usually I talk about Hong Kong restaurant, my travels to China, anything that I find interesting. And people always tell me, why you're not talking about website? Because I find it a bit boring. So I prefer to talk about something I like. And when I'm talking about Hong Kong, I usually direct people to my newsletter, and from the newsletter they go to my website creation platform. So it's a bit of the sales funnel from lead acquisition, LinkedIn post to my platform where they can get a quote. But yeah, that's 2 things. On one hand, you got a networking group that is growing. It's called Better Call Paul. If you like Breaking Bad, you know what I call it like this. And the other one is BAO, BAO, like the Chinese dish. Just a little wink to China. So yeah, that's I think being part of me.
Yeah, and I mean, LinkedIn would, okay, as other social media, we do encourage, I mean, it's good that people post things about interesting posts, otherwise we would not be in there. So, but then one of the posts that was fairly recent, you compared AI's impact on the content creation, like to the Titanic sinking. So when did you first realize that AI was disrupting your work, and how did you adapt?
Well, when did we get ChatGPT for the first time? I think it was 2022, November.
Yep.
Well, end of the year. Well, at the beginning, it was not clear because it took me a few weeks to try the tool, and this thing was so amazing, let's be honest, that, yeah, I was shocked. But at this time, it was just the 3.5 version of ChatGPT, if I remember well, not the 4th. And the 4th came a few months after. And the 4th was just crazy good. And that's the moment when you realize that, yeah, you're going to get replaced, maybe slowly, but that's coming for you. And there's no way to come back to how it was before. So the best way to leverage AI is not to learn how to use it and to put it into your business as fast as possible, because we are still in this transition period where people don't really know about it. Even though millions are using it, we're billions on Earth. So maybe your colleague is not using it. So if you're working full time, don't hesitate to give it a try. Maybe there's a way for you to save 2-3 hours a week by just using ChatGPT. Who knows? But I guess in the next 5-10 years, there's going to be something totally normal. And if you don't use it, you'll just be replaced by someone else.
Yeah, I really like your point about saving the time and also assuming that the colleague knows how to use it as well, because they might not. And
but the thing is, they will never talk about it, right? You don't want to talk about using AI. Right now, it's something new. You're scared. Maybe your boss is going to learn it and reduce your salary. So you're doing it, but in silence. And yeah, maybe your colleagues are using it, but you don't know about it. So you don't do it.
And that's what some people call shadow AI, which is the kind of the danger that your company secrets kind of walk out on the AI or people use it.
Yeah.
But we are here today talking about do use it, and I guess always as people now feels classical, but it's not the radiologist who's going to be replaced by AI. It's the one who doesn't use AI. That's anyone who uses AI has the benefit of.
Well, all people are going to be replaced, or they're going to be assisted by AI. Depend on your industry, depend on your job. But at the end, in the next 10 years, works will be way easier for, I think, 90% of the population on Earth.
Yeah. And you mentioned, I mean, earlier you mentioned BAO as one of your companies that you have, and that you sort of started with content creation, but now you kind of went into web development. So you sort of upskilled or increased the services. So kind of what were the challenges then to move into that, and sort of how did AI help with that?
Well, content creation for me, it's not that content creation is dead. It's just it's getting more difficult to invoice a client for content creation, because any of these clients can create content by themselves. So you can produce 100 and get paid 50 at the end, but 3 years ago you were getting paid 80 or 90. Of course, you're offering less value. That's normal. So me, when I decided to move to website creation, the idea was, okay, AI maybe is going to take a few years to catch up, or they will still need a human being behind a computer to maintain the website, to create it. And again, I had this vision about someone getting assisted by AI, not being replaced by it. And that's why you need to focus on what are the most boring tasks online today. So you got SEO, you got coding, creating websites. All these tasks are complicated. So you can get assisted by AI, but AI by itself doing it, maybe it will happen. Who knows? I can't plan what's going to happen in the next 5 years, but for the moment, that's fine. So that's why I moved to the top of the Titanic, because the rest is sinking and content creation is sinking with it. So it's not impossible to do content creation. It's just way more difficult. And if you can spend 2 hours of your time looking for clients, just do it for something else, not for content creation, because it takes time to explain the value, because people want new clients out of content creation, and they don't understand that if they don't have brand image, it's not going to work. Second, they're going to negotiate a lot because they have ChatGPT to do the content for them. So yeah, that's way more complicated. Not impossible, but complicated.
Yeah, and people need to understand the value of humans writing the words rather than AI. But for certain companies, it might be hard to convince them that personal touch is needed for them to be succeeding. And as you said, you move into search and SEO and so on. That requires skill and knowledge that AI doesn't have today. But when you're working with a client, I mean, I saw at one of your posts, you compared yourself like you're slowly becoming an AI manager. And when I heard that, I see like all of these AIs out there that you're discussing with. What does it look in practice? And sort of where do you see this role as being the AI manager in the future?
Well, the truth is, without AI, I think I would have burned out a long time ago. I see myself using 100 point of mental energy every week, starting from Monday to Sunday, and you got back your 100 at the end of the week on the weekend when you can rest. And without AI, I think I will be negative 150 on Friday. So I'll be dead. So yeah, I managed to use AI to leverage some part of the business that require a lot of mental health point. Maybe I'm talking about coding, I'm talking about writing my newsletter. This kind of thing are really time consuming for me, because I'm not a natural English speaker. So I can speak English, but writing English takes a lot of energy. Coding takes a lot of energy, because one small mistake, you're screwed. Plus, if your client don't like what you did, you need to recode. So it's a massive amount of time if you have to do it by yourself. So just these two things help me maybe save 50% of my mental health per week. So I leverage ChatGPT for coding. I'm using other platforms because, as you know, Hong Kong is not really an AI place, right? We have to use VPN for most of the software AI platform. So you can use them through API with po.com, or now we got DeepSeek, the Chinese version, that is pretty good. But yeah, that's not easy. So that's what I mean by AI manager. This is more a catchy way to say it, but AI became my intern, basically, working all the time for free, which is good.
Well, yeah, for free or a small subscription. But I do really like I do really like that comment, your point about, first of all, like you have your energy points for the week. I mean, that's good. And then you do need to have your weekends to recoup. And if AI takes you to the end of the week with enough points to enjoy Friday evening, AI has done a good job.
I wish, yeah.
Well, yeah. So at BAO, you kind of specialize now. You're moving into more high value items because that's what you need to do to survive.
Mhm.
sort of when in your, so you're ahead of a lot of people, but what skills should people focus on to stay ahead of the sort of AI disruption of this type of business or other businesses?
Wow, this is a tough question. I think the number one skill anybody should have is the skill to sell, because in sales you will always need a human being to seal a deal, in my opinion. Okay, so you can again use AI to assist you. There are plenty of softwares today that help you do that, and I think they're not even AI at the end. You have a platform like Smart Leads or Maildoso that help you create really personal email campaign. So if you know how to manage with this platform, you can already automatize your lead search. And I think that even though this is not a tool that is 100% AI, but I think it's going to come, that's something you should know how to sell. Because myself, I became a sales manager and an AI manager at the same time. I see that I can't be a technician all the time. If I want to find clients and do the work, I need to delegate, I need to leverage AI, and I need to focus on sales. So I'm my own business developer. I'm the face of the company. I need every day to reach out to leads. So you see the posts on LinkedIn, but there's also a whole strategy to reach out to people directly, to contact them, to offer my service. But this is something happening in the background. But it's something I need. I can't just deal with passive content and wait for people to reach out to me, because that's taking too much time.
Yeah, and you on your website, and we're going to send out an email to everybody who signed up for this event. On your website, there is a form that has some AI behind it that helps you with some of the some of the steps.
Yeah, exactly. I just created a form that people can fill to get a quote. I'm trying to be as specific as possible with the quote. It's a bit difficult because there are a lot of things that people can ask, different platform, different services. So at the end, the idea of the quote is to get in touch with the person, because the person will receive another email 24 hours after, or another WhatsApp. The person can contact me on WhatsApp as well. So the idea is just to get in touch, because there are like so many people visiting my website. I need to get some email address at the end. Otherwise, this traffic is useless.
Yeah, but having the LinkedIn post, etc., drives a certain amount of traffic. So when it came at BAO, you kind of figured out also that companies struggle more with website maintenance, which I guess is harder to do, and also, as you said, requires coding, etc., than just creating a brand new site. I mean, where did you and how did you spot that gap?
Well, it's been 2 years. I'm talking to leads, and most of the leads, I've fallen into the same trap. Basically, they go for a cheap website. So they find someone in Southeast Asia. They got a website for 500 US, let's say, and at the end, the guy built a website. The work is good, but they realize after that they need someone to maintain the website. I'm talking about changing pictures, text, or creating a new page. And they realize that they can't do it by themselves because the website is too complicated. For instance, the website has been built on WordPress, which can be really not user-friendly sometimes. And if there is coded part of the website, is even worse. And at the end, they can't even change the picture. So they need the guy who built the website. But the guy knew it since the beginning. That's why the price was cheap. And at the end, they depend on him. So I can just send him an email to do modifications. But most of the time, they don't really care, or they have 20 clients to satisfy for maintenance, and they reply after 3 days, or they don't do it correctly, and you lose a week to change a simple picture. So this is where I came in, and I said, look, guys, leave the guys in Southeast Asia and come to me, and I'll do a great job. Most of them are living in Hong Kong, so they can even meet me and see that I'm trustworthy, I'm doing my job well, and I'm trying to build a business. So I'm not gonna do a bad job, right? It's not gonna play on my reputation. So yeah, that's the idea. I call it the WordPress trap. Basically, most of the time it's on WordPress.
Yeah, I can see that, having had experience with Word, it can become very complicated. And as you said, and sometimes we don't really value the time. As you said, if it takes a week to get a picture changed, well, that's sort of 1 of 52 that we have for this budget year. And if you're not able to get the product up there. Now, we are talking about content management, but there is a lot of other freelance, the mix between the in-between between big agencies, you and freelancers. So what advice would you have to others looking to sort of find their niche in their business, and to find that where they add some more service and keep the client on a retainer?
That's a tough one. Look, if you want to find a niche, you have an encyclopedia that is called internet, and you have platforms like Reddit. And I think that's the advice I'm going to give it there. People don't realize how powerful Reddit is. So Reddit is basically a forum platform, kind of social media, with a lot of subreddits. And the thing is, there people are giving really constructive comment to you. They're not just criticizing what you do or trolling you, like you can see on Instagram, Facebook. They're really paying attention to what they're going to say, because there is a notation system for each of your comments. So you're not going to say bullshit and disappear. No, you're going to be noted if you say something bad. So you can have really constructive comment for any question you ask. So don't be scared. Don't be shy. Go on Reddit, subscribe, and ask any subreddit you feel like that is related to your business. For instance, me, I'm always going to the Wix Builder subreddit or the WordPress subreddit. I ask thousands of questions to people, and I got really good value at the end. So that could be a first advice. After, it's really wide, so it's tough to give a more precise question, a more precise answer. Of course, if any of you really want an answer, you can just contact me after, tell me what you do, and I can drop you a few lines about what I would do if I were you. Don't hesitate.
Now, that is a really good point. I mean, as you said, Reddit has a lot of the subreddits and the different professions, and finding people who are struggling. If there's enough people asking a certain question as well, I guess that's also the opportunity to step in and say, hey, I can do all of these as a professional, as a business.
Actually, 20% of my traffic come from Reddit as well, because I'm answering questions to help people. So that's just a free way to generate traffic as well. Works both ways.
No, and I think that being I don't know, maybe there's a subreddit for travel as well. But as if you help people, they trust you. Yes, I really like we talked about that point system for the week, and sort of how do you sort of manage running your own company, keeping the cost reasonable, and still having a good work-life balance so that you can take the weekends and recharge?
Well, the truth is, I never really stop. Doesn't mean I'm in front of a computer all the time working. It's impossible. Mentally, after 8 hours, I'm getting crazy. I need to go out. But my brain is always thinking about work, and that's what could be dangerous. What I'm trying to stop. So I'm trying really to stop and move to something else, reading, watching movies. But even though, or I check my WhatsApp, or I think about content, like a part of my job became a hobby, if you want. It's more like the creative side. There's always like this thought in the background, like what I'm going to post about next week. Oh, I should talk about this. I saw this. So I never really stop. But at least for the hard task, which are writing a newsletter, which is already every 2 weeks. But coding or building website, I stop at 6 p.m. anyway. So yeah, that's that would be worse without AI for sure. That would be terrible. I think I won't be able to manage, to be honest, because I will use all my points. There's a moment when you can't work anymore. You can't think. This is human. There's nobody's a superhero for this. Let's be honest. But yeah, that's
and I guess time boxing and saying, hey, 6 o'clock, I have to be done with it, also makes you look for tools that will help you to get that 6 o'clock.
I'm using
deadline.
Toggler now to I have a timer. I'm using Toggler. This is a timer to time my task, but I forget to turn it off most of the time. It's tough. It's tough. Even using a calendar, I can't. So yeah.
No, but I think it's a good, as you said, I think it's a healthy thing to do, as you said, to make sure that you at least stop at some point, and it also encourages you to find those tools, AI tools, that can help you keep the work within the designated working hours in the designated week, rather than just spilling over, because it's easy just to continue. So
exactly.
So let's talk about sort of some of the AI tools and how. So we talked about coding, and of course, we don't know what OpenAI or Anthropic what will release now in 2025, and DeepSeek has sped up some of those releases, I guess. But do you think that developers eventually will become obsolete, or will we just be?
Uh,
What do you think?
well, it's tough to give you. It's just a prediction, but I think they will become manager like I am today, right? You're still gonna produce the code using AI, but you will have to double check the code, put it in a certain platform. So at the end, they will certainly offer less value than they are, except if they increase the amount of work. For instance, if you're just coding one software today, maybe in 5 years you will be able to code 3 software for a similar salary, but you'll have to, because otherwise, if you just do one, you will get paid 1/3 of what you can get today. So yeah, I would say they will not become obsolete, but it will be easier to replace them with a noob who know nothing about coding. And that was my case 2 years ago. I didn't know how to code HTML or any of this thing, and AI helped me to understand the basics, the structure, and I learned on the go. But I didn't study it, at school, or because I guess 5 years ago it was way more difficult to learn coding and implementing it.
Yeah, and 5 years ago we didn't have a friendly AI colleague who could give us feedback on the code, and we could ask any question we wanted to. And I think that's one of those things. Like, AI will never get tired of you. It will never say, "Hey, stop asking me that repeat same question." And yeah, it in my case, AI has kind of refreshed my Python skills, because yeah, I knew what it was, but it was, I guess, end of 2023 that I was like, oh, let's try. And then AI helps you so much it becomes fun.
But you feel guilty. You feel like you're becoming more stupid by using it, right? Because you're not thinking by yourself. This is what people think as well today. Many people are against it because they feel like they're going to become stupid because they're giving the work to another intelligence. But who knows? Huh?
Or we are, I don't know, when somebody makes a movie, the director, everybody takes the movies, but the one who cuts it together to the final story, the editor, has a huge amount of value. So we become the editors of what the AI produces and selects what parts to use, code or text.
I think I heard James Cameron is going to put a message at the beginning of the next Avatar movie saying that this movie is not going to be made with AI, So we reached this point, and they should use AI. I mean, they would have saved 10 years, huh?
Yeah, and then we got something to do on the weekend. Well, you talk about, what different AI tools, if you look at your work day, you mentioned ChatGPT and so on, but what other tools are you kind of generally using, or what would you suggest people investigate, tools that you either use or use a little, but say, hey, that would further your knowledge for learning?
Well, the most common tools are the one that we all already know about. But the thing is, if you don't want to pay for AI for the moment, the best is to download a few different AI assistants. So we got a few in Hong Kong. I think one of the most used one is PO.com, POE. PO is basically composed of different API. So you got many different assistants inside one app. I think the free assistant is limited today, but you must be able to use it like 20 times a day, depending on what you ask. So me, basically, I'm using 5 assistants in a day. I know which one I'm going to use for which task, because some are more intelligent than others, but I'm not going to be able to use them more than 5 times. So the free assistant of PO is really easy for correcting sentence or rewriting a few sentences or a paragraph. But if I want to rewrite a whole blog post or my newsletter, I will go to DeepSeek. But DeepSeek can have some problem of censorship, and also sometimes servers are full. So I don't know if it means that you've reached your limited use or if it's real, but it's been 2 weeks that I'm running into this issue, which is problematic because DeepSeek is really, really good. Honestly, for a free version of an AI assistant, you're getting really a great value. This is a really great product. Except this, you got Mistral as well, Le Chat, which is a new one that appeared last week. So just the message is use more than one. Like this, you don't have to pay. Learn how to switch from one to another. And this is just for coding and writing. If you want to modify pictures or create new stuff, well, me personally, I'm not using this kind of app. Sometimes I do, like on Photoshop, when I want to remove a background or change something, I will use the AI tool. But except this, maybe Canvas. But I heard about Photo AI, which is pretty big on Twitter, because it was created by a massive Twitter influencer, Pieter Lievel, if you know him. And you have Mirror AI as well. But yeah, I'm not a big expert in image image AI assistant, more like text and code. But I'm happy to give you a few leads again, a few ideas after. Just reach out to me, and happy to share the wisdom.
Photoshop is a I guess also a good point. I mean, when Photoshop appeared, I mean, I guess 25 years ago or maybe even longer, everybody, oh, now photography is dead. Everybody has Photoshop, and now photography evolved, and now we have smart fill and, as you said, remove backgrounds and stuff like that. You still need a human to make that decision that, oh, that background I don't want, and so on. But also inside some of these tools, we talked about the different like Wix and Webflow and so on. There are internal AI tools in these platforms, and I guess we're also going to, if we already have it, we got it in the CRM systems and so on. I mean, do you think those are as useful as, or do you prefer to use sort of the standalone tools and then bring the content into, for example, a website builder?
You mean for website builder?
Yeah,
Well,
for example, yeah.
I had a coffee like 2 weeks ago with a guy from my networking platform, because I got a WhatsApp group where people talk, and the guy showed me a website that allows you to code other websites. And it was really easy. If you want, you could just ask a prompt, so ask something with text, and the thing was creating the code by itself. And so I was like, well, I'm dead. I'm talking about this because I see in the chat someone is asking about me being still motivated. But I know that behind, you still need a lot of work, and AI is not able to do everything. Even though AI as a technician can produce the code, you still need to implement the code to check it, and maybe you also have to create a specific design. There are a lot of tasks, including SEO, that doesn't make me scared for the moment. There's also different platform. For instance, if someone come to me and say, I want a full coded website for this platform with this, first I will try to evaluate how long that's going to take, because if it's taking me 3 months and the guy has a really limited budget, let's say 2,000 USD, I'm not going to say yes, because it doesn't mean anything on my side. I will lose. If I come back on an hour rate, that will not work. But even though I will know that in the future I can get the guy for maintenance because I will be the creator of the website, but I will try to save my time and go with a website building platform, whether it's WordPress or Wix, depending on the level of flexibility the guy wants. If he wants a specific design, I will go with WordPress. If I feel like I can do it with Wix, I will offer Wix because I don't have to do maintenance as well for the guy. So the guy will take. So to answer your question, I'm not using coded platform for the moment. If I'm scared about it, not for the moment, but let's see, it can change in a week. You just need one iPhone moment with a specific platform that can revolutionize the website building industry, and I'm screwed, let's be honest. but for the moment, no. And I will never disappear. I will offer less value, or I will have to offer more value for the same price. But I'm not worried. Building website is complicated enough to require a human for the moment.
No, and I don't think we who are in this call, not just you and I, but also everybody who's listening in or watch this YouTube video later, we are all learning about AI, and therefore we have a head start. So from that sort of getting a head start, what is one thing that someone can do tomorrow to sort of reinvent themselves in the AI era? What would you say?
That's wide. I would say whether you are an entrepreneur or a full-time guy, just take a white piece of paper and put all the difficult tasks you do during the week at work or even at home. And after, go on Google and try to find an AI tool that can replace you for this. It can be, I don't know, you're editing a podcast. There's a really powerful tool that does it now for you, except you don't really hear about it because there is no marketing behind. But AI is really getting everywhere in every industry. I was talking to a lawyer the other day. He didn't want to tell anybody, but he was using AI for his job, except the guy is getting paid a shitload of money, so he's not going to talk about it, of course, right? He's not stupid. But yeah, it works like this. So if you want to change your mind with AI, just list this task and see online if you can find a tool to replace you for this task. And 70% of the time you will find something, I'm sure. Maybe you'll have to pay, but usually it's not much, It's not much.
No, and I really like the idea about the white paper listing down the things that you do.
That's what I use
And
myself.
yeah, and if you can save an hour a week, I mean, then that 20, 30 US dollars a month, we all have the same amount of time on Earth, so
Yeah.
saving time is valuable.
And you're going to save a lot of mental health point as well. That's
Oh
the
yeah,
second thing to think about: time and mental health.
yeah,
Save yourself.
yeah. No, that's a really good point. Well, it's a great discussion. So you mentioned a little bit about Better Read Paul. So we'll share the email and people can sign up. What got you started to do that blog post?
Oh, so it's more like a newsletter than a
Okay.
blog. It's
Yep.
50-50 because it's built on Substack, which is a blogging platform. But when I finish my post, basically everybody receive it as a newsletter. But after the post is on the platform. Better Read Paul was before Better Call Paul, again because of Breaking Bad. I'm a big fan. It became Better Read Paul because you reading me. So the modification made sense. This is just a newsletter about Hong Kong and whatever I find interesting. So tech, AI, my life in Hong Kong as well. My idea is just to make it as interesting as possible. I want people to get value, or you smile, or you spend a good moment reading it, because I read it in a really simple way. The way I'm talking to you right now, this is the same thing if you read the newsletter. This is not serious. So, I want people to learn stuff, or to laugh, or to spend a good moment, or the three at the same time if I'm lucky. So that's the idea. It's a really localized newsletter. So if you're from Singapore or France or the US, I don't know, maybe this newsletter is not for you, let's be honest. But on the other hand, there are like interesting stuff. I interview an entrepreneur every 2 weeks as well. So I try to find interesting guys who have funny business, whether they're big or not. And I go for an interview with them. I record the interview and I use AI again to transcribe the interview from audio to text. So that's another use of AI that helped me save a lot of time, because I can focus on the guy when we're talking and my iPhone is recording. So yeah, little annoying tasks like this have been replaced, so I don't have to do it myself.
No, and then you create content. And as we all know, I'm within the Startup Grind Network. We also have a lot of investors. So if you're here now or watching this on YouTube later, within your newsletter might be companies that people could be interested in investing in, as they are in Hong Kong. So the audience can many different audiences.
I'm getting sponsorship sometime, and I also built a networking group. I already talked about it. So this is on WhatsApp. Basically, my readers come to the group, and the group is pretty nice because people know me through what I'm writing, and I know maybe 20% of the people in the group. So which means we have a core of people who know each other, which make the group more dynamic. And we're really chill. It's not only talking about business or AI or whatever. This is more sharing about Hong Kong as well, or business, like whatever you want to talk about. You're welcome to do so. I'm pretty cool. I'm not moderating much. Well, maybe I will have to, because we're reaching 130 people, I guess. So it's gonna start becoming a mess soon. But for the moment, that's pretty fine.
Yeah, but peer groups helping each other is great. Now, one last question before we move on to the Q&A. And I think you had kind of mentioned it also during this, but how do you stay updated on AI and technology? What are your sources? Reddit, but are there any others that you would recommend to follow?
For AI use, well, I will go with Twitter. Of course, today this is a kind of controversial choice because of Musk, because of all the shit content you can find on the platform. But you can take 30 minutes of your day to clean your Twitter. You can block Musk, for instance. That's what I did a long time ago. You can block all his minions from the far right. And at the end, you can only have a clean list of tech people who have really interesting content. And this is where usually you heard about the new innovation, tech innovation, AI. This is where I learned about ChatGPT the first time on the morning in November 2022. And still today, I'm discovering new tools thanks to it. People who try to find investors. Of course, you have other sources after. You have LinkedIn, you have Reddit. But I think the first platform where things pop up, it's X today, Twitter.
Yeah, and as I said, curating that flow, because if you, whatever your business is, if you want to stay ahead, you want to get the AI news or the new tools as soon as possible.
Yeah, and things are changing every week, so it's tough to to stay updated about AI. You have a new tool every day. You see something, you don't really understand what's the difference with the previous tool, if it's better or not. It's like iPhone, the more you get into it, the less there is really a real innovation between each model. So yeah, that's AI is a silent mess, and a mess that people have trouble understanding because things change all the time.
Yeah, but then we might have some other, like DeepSeek, when that came, and all the results of that. So there are, I guess, spurts of innovation as well, or
But the funny thing, I got a friend working in Shenzhen. The guy is helping a Chinese company to put AI on tractors. So the one you got in the field. So
Yep.
basically, they put a robot. The robot is going to keep the wheel, and with an antenna, the thing is going to move by itself. So you don't need a guy on the wheel driving the thing. So that's something I would have never heard about without this guy telling me about it, and I find it interesting. Imagine you can revolutionize the countryside world, let's call it like this, with AI, but you would have never heard about it without this dude.
And we need to be careful walking into the fields, so it at least sees us. Yeah.
Well, I guess they can stop. They're not killing humans yet. No Terminator for the moment.
Not for Paul. It's been amazing having you here at Startup Grind. A big thank you for joining us today.
No problem.
And
Glad to join Catwalk. Glad to share the wisdom.
And we're gonna move into the Q&A session. And Marine, you are there. And